Let me just say, I was expecting really good things in this movie, despite what people were saying about Ben Affleck as Batman, despite what people thought about Lex Luthor. Honestly, though, a lot of people's fears about this movie actually ended up coming true. I was expecting this movie to shut so many people up. I was expecting it to just knock people out. But sadly, this movie fails to deliver on any level. The biggest reason why this movie fails is just because it's so sloppily put together. I mean, half the scenes that you see don't follow the ones that you just previously saw, and half the time you have to guess where the characters are or how they even got there. Scenes don't actually end in this movie, just new ones begin. It's almost like the editors were like, you know what would make this really challenging? If we edited this movie blindfolded. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. That might actually make the fans like this movie more. This movie is so messy that not even the character arcs fit together to tell a cohesive story. You don't know the motives of any of the characters besides Batman. I guess once they decided the movie was going to be Batman v Superman, they were like, okay, Batman makes the most money out of every person here, so this is just going to be a Batman movie and Batman's just going to take over this entire project. This movie has Zack Snyder written all over it. It is completely style over substance. There's no substance in this movie at all. While what happens in the action sequences in this movie is really intense and really riveting, it never hooks you. You're never engaged in the story, you're never engaged in the characters, so all that stuff is just thrown out. It doesn't matter. You don't care why Batman is taking out a room full of 20 guys. You don't care when Superman is flying around saving Lois Lane all the time. You don't care about Lex Luthor and what he's trying to accomplish. By the time they actually tried to put some soul into what was happening on screen, I honestly facepalmed. It made me dislike the movie even more. By that point, it was way too late. I was already just completely removed from the movie, and they tried to put it in the wrong place in the wrong time. Lois Lane's lines are just completely horrible, and her role in this movie just feels entirely irrelevant, and it is weird for the amount of screen time she actually has in the movie. Superman just feels like a brick. His dialogue is absolutely horrible, and he's not engaging at all. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was a horrible interpretation of the character, and he was just completely miscast. I mean, the writers, first of all, they wrote the character in wrong, and then the character that they wrote wrong, they miscast him. So they just doubled down on the suck factor. Now, luckily, Ben Affleck actually delivers on Batman / Bruce Wayne. He was very dark and brooding when he was in Batman mode, and he was actually a really good, suave, smooth talker when he was acting as Bruce Wayne. But sadly, the writing and directing again decided to completely nullify everything that was good in the movie by completely destroying the character of Batman. Batman, The Dark Knight, the kid who saw his parents gunned down in front of him, kills people in this movie. And it's funny because they eased you into it too. The first time you're like, oh, those people might actually be dead. Oh my gosh. And then he like slams that car on top of another car and there's people in it and you're like, okay, those people are definitely dead. And then it just keeps piling and piling on top of each other. I mean, he hits people with the Batmobile in this movie. I don't know why they made Batman a mass murderer in this movie. I mean, they don't even try to explain why his character is like that, and it doesn't drive the story. It actually creates a plot hole in the story. How can Batman want to fight Superman for all the death and destruction he caused in Metropolis when he himself is a killer? He's been Batmaning for like 20 years in this movie. How many people has he killed if that's the way he does things? Thank God for Wonder Woman in this movie. There's at least one character that isn't destroyed, has horrible dialogue, and is at least somewhat engaging when she is on screen. You can just tell that the villains are just so shoehorned into this movie. You don't feel that they have a reason to be there at all. This movie just has laughable plot holes, and the ending is so unrewarding, and it has no emotional effect on you at all. You just don't care about anything that happens. This movie is in no shape or form Batman v Superman. They're barely on screen together, and honestly, when they were, I didn't care. This movie just tries to be way too many things. I mean, sometimes it's a Batman movie, sometimes it's a Batman v Superman movie, sometimes it's a Superman movie, sometimes it's a Justice League setup. But I tell you what, they did get one thing pretty consistent, and that's it's dull and boring. Whew, okay, I finally got my frustrations vented about that movie. If you're gonna go see it, please, just go see a matinee. Don't spend the $10, it's not worth it. Anyway, Thanks for watching till the end, guys. Look, if you liked what you see here, like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. I'm going to try to do one video every week. Thanks for sitting through and watching this till the end, and I will see you guys in the next Moviegoer's Guide.